This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. With breaking news, Ghislaine Maxwell is not going to be naming any names. In fact, she's going to do the exact opposite. She's going to be protecting and defending her good friends, people like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and others. As we see here, special friendships. Ghislaine Maxwell speaks for first time on close friendships with Clinton and Trump, an exclusive interview from prison. And indeed, she was very close friends with Bill Clinton, so much so that he even invited her to his daughter's wedding. As you can see here, she's also been very close friends with Donald Trump, having hung out with him on many, many occasions, multiple times. They've been close friends, guys. And it's not just U.S. presidents that she's been getting so close with, like Clinton and Trump, but she's also paying tribute to her dear friend, Prince Andrew, and breaks silence on whether she expects to hear from him again. Jail plots to kill her, and claims that photo is fake. She's referring to the now infamous photo of Virginia Roberts, now Virginia Giuffre, who at the time here was a minor, pictured with Prince Andrew. She claims that he had sex with her while she was a minor here at Ghislaine Maxwell's house. That's Ghislaine Maxwell in the background, and the flash that you can see on the window in the background is said to have been from Jeffery Epstein, who took the photo. Of course, Jeffery Epstein is the convicted pedophile. He was the leader of a sex trafficking operation and a blackmailing ring, in case you didn't know. And, of course, you know, he is no longer alive to speak of this or to tell the stories of what actually took place here. No, that's all left down to Ghislaine Maxwell, who, mum is the word. Perhaps that could be because she believes there is a $1 million bounty on her head right now. She says that fellow prisoners are planning to murder her as she sleeps. So perhaps that could be a good indication of why she's not speaking up. But there's other reasons why she may not be speaking up, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to take a close look at just who she is. And one of the places that's a good place to start when it comes to who is Ghislaine Maxwell is to look at who is her father, Robert Maxwell, who everybody knows was famously a huge media mogul. But what you may not know, ladies and gentlemen, is that this man was known to have been an agent, maybe a double agent, and possibly even a triple agent working for the intelligence communities. This man was MI6 working for British intelligence. He was working for Russian intelligence under the KGB, and Mossad intelligence, the Israeli intelligence under the Mossad. Here he can be seen meeting with the Queen, meeting with the Queen's son, who is now the king. Here in a very rare photo, he is seen meeting with the prince, now king, and Princess Diana. Here he is introducing his daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, to the Queen. And obviously now she has some pretty amazing connections. Here she is with Jeffery Epstein at the Queen's own personal private cabin. So that just goes to show you just how connected she is after having been introduced by her father to the Queen and others. And I will remind you guys that Maxwell had known links to British intelligence services like MI6, to the Soviet KGB, and to Israeli intelligence service Mossad as well. 6 serving and former heads of Israeli intelligence services attended Maxwell's funeral in Israel, while the Israeli prime minister at the time eulogized him and stated he has done more for Israel than can today be told. Yeah, I bet he has, and I wonder why it can't be told. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at all of this and much, much, much more in this video, my friends. But before we do, I want to tell you about my friends here at Patriot Gold Group. When you call this number on the screen, you will get connected to a live free consultant, an investor's guide, when you call during these business hours. And what these guys specialize in is IRAs and 401ks that are backed by precious metals, guys. This is a fantastic way to hedge yourself against inflation, to hedge against the dollar, to get yourself up with some precious metals, whether that's in the tangible form that you can physically hold in your hand or in stocks. These guys are rated #1 gold IRA dealer by Consumer Affairs for 5 years in a row, guys. They have outstanding customer service. And again, when you call this number right here, this is a preferred number for Press for Truth viewers. And even if you already have an IRA, that's okay. They can roll it over for you. And you might even be eligible for a no-fee-for-life IRA, again, when you call this number on the screen. If you don't want to talk to a live person, a free investor's guide, a consultant, you can just click the link in the description to where it'll bring you to this page here. You can fill out this form. And again, these guys will help you get set up with a plan moving forward, guys. And I have partnered with these guys here at Patriot Gold. So when you call the number or you click the link, it not only helps you moving forward, getting set up to protect your assets, but it helps us here at Press for Truth as well, guys. So if that's something you're interested in, please call that number on the screen or click the link in the description below to help yourselves get set up moving forward with my friends at Patriot Gold Group. All right, so I wanted to start with this in case you didn't know. Ghislaine Maxwell is also good friends with a lot of, famous celebrities. Here she is seen with Kevin Spacey sitting on the Queen's throne. Kevin Spacey is now friends with the Prince as well, no doubt, having been introduced to the royalty through his friend Ghislaine Maxwell, and this has led to the point of him receiving an honorary knighthood from the king, the prince at the time. And, it may be because of his connections to Ghislaine Maxwell and his known connections to the prince that he is now getting off, guys, of this major conviction. Kevin Spacey scores a big win in sexual assault case as judge throws out accuser Anthony Rapp's claims that the actor inflicted intentional emotional distress. A judge dismissed one of the legal claims Kevin Spacey faces from actor Anthony Rapp, who says that Spacey made a sexual advance on him in his apartment in the 1980s when he was 14 years old. Again, it looks like he's starting to get off of some of these things. The man who was knighted, the man who is friends of the prince and who was introduced through this lady who we're going to be talking about today. Is this a precursor of what we can expect from Clinton and Trump and the prince and all the others on this clientele list? I mean, let's not forget, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were running a blackmailing sex ring operation, and they had clientele. They had a big black book list of clientele, and so many people were hoping she was going to be naming names in this trial facing 20 years, but she is a controlled agent of the state. She's going to be doing no such thing, ladies and gentlemen. And I found it interesting, speaking of, Kevin Spacey, I was looking at the flight logs. This is the flight logs of the Lolita Express. All the flights that were taken with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell on his private jet. This goes back from 1995 all the way to 2015. And I was just scrolling through here, page after page after page, and I started seeing certain names pop up over and over, like this one, Sophia Biddle. I was just scrolling through, there it is again, year after year, she kept popping up. And then I look her up, and I just see that she's a massage therapist, and that she also, Sophie Biddle, has IMDb credit for these 3 films, Armageddon, Mystery Men, and K-Pax. Oh, look at that, Kevin Spacey's K-Pax. She is credited here in the credits as you got your cast, you got your makeup department, special effects, visual effects, camera department, all of that. But then you get down to additional crew, and here we see Sophie Biddle, massage therapist. So she has been booked as a massage therapist on a number of films, including ones with Kevin Spacey, and she's flown on Jeffrey Epstein's plane many times. Just interesting to see all the connection within this, what appears to be a very tight inner circle. And again, it looks to be now that she will not be naming any names moving forward and revealing the clientele list that this pedophile network ring actually was and still is in possession of. So let's take a look at this, guys. In a world exclusive interview from prison, where she's serving 20 years for trafficking teenage girls, she confessed, "I feel bad for him. I follow what's happening to him." So here we see Maxwell, 60, appeared shaken when told that the prince's lawyers had claimed that they were never close, before adding, sadly, "I accept that this friendship could not survive my conviction." Wow. So she's just told in the interview, so you say you're friends with the prince? Did you know his lawyers are saying that he claims that he was never close to you? And she just sadly goes, "I accept that my friendship cannot survive this conviction," just denying that they're not friends and just saying that, "I understand why he has to disassociate himself from me. He's paying such a price for this association. I consider him a dear friend and I care about him." Well, interesting. If you actually were a dear friend and you did care, you probably wouldn't say that you're a dear friend and you care about him, especially right now when all eyes are on you for being a convicted, helping a convicted pedophile. But let's continue. It comes as the Duke of York struggles to rescue his image of the face of the hostile public opinion on the heartbreak of his mother, Queen's death. In two explosive interviews, one of which, by the way, is airing tonight on television, one of which was conducted face-to-face in prison, Maxwell even told how she is now convinced that Andrew is a victim of faked evidence. And this is remarkable, guys. Of course, she is talking about this infamous photo. And let me just scroll down to the part of the article where they get into that specifically, and then we'll backtrack and continue. But look at this. She says, "The photo is not real. Said to have been taken at Maxwell's London home in March of 2001, it shows her standing in the background, grinning broadly. This photo is not real," she insisted, backing Andrew's earlier claims. There was never an original one produced. She refused to say more on Giuffre, who sued Prince for sex abuse and accepted a reported $12 million in damages earlier this year, adding with the dismissive wave, "I don't even want to start talking about Virginia." So she's like, "Yeah, don't get me started on her." And then she just leaves it at that. The prince paid her out $12 million. When do you ever pay somebody out $12 million to just say, just stop talking about this when you're not actually guilty of the crime? The prince dropped his defense against Giuffre's lawsuit and agreed to pay up, turning him into the palace pariah, banned from royal duties after a damaging 2015 email from Ghislaine Maxwell emerged. Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, who, again, if you go back and look at this flight log, appeared many times. Yes, he's their lawyer, but when you just see how many times he's on the Lolita Express, it's kind of questionable. But let's continue. Dershowitz had asked her if the picture was real, and she replied in the email, "It looks real. I think it is." So, when challenged on this, Maxwell now insisted, "I don't recognize that picture, and I don't believe it is a real picture." Then she claimed that all she meant to say in that email was that she recognized her own house. "I said that it is that image, whatever it is, I recognize it as my house," she explained in a rambling response. "But I've come to discover that that image I don't believe is true. And the original has never been produced because it doesn't exist. I don't believe that that image is true." Ladies and gentlemen, if you see a photo of yourself that you know is fake, you know it's Photoshop, you know it didn't happen, it couldn't have, you weren't there, you would say, "No, that's fake, that's not true. It's not a real photo, I was not there." Not, "I don't believe that this image is true." I mean, just the wording of this is very questionable. I don't believe it is true. I don't believe that this image is a true image. Again, if you're truly convicted of yourself, thinking to yourself, "There's no possible way this is real," you're not going to say, "I don't believe that that is actually real." Now, I'm not saying whether or not it is or it isn't. I mean, let's face it, we're dealing with double and triple agents here who have been messing with the royal family for decades. The position of her arm on the left here, close to her hip, is questionable. And Ghislaine Maxwell does claim that she has a lot to point out about the photo. She says, it would never have occurred to me that at the time that somebody would have created a photograph or, done something with a picture. I recognize the surroundings, but nothing more than that. Maxwell claims there are over 50 problems within this picture that led her to come to the conclusion that it is indeed fake. But she's not willing to talk about what those inconsistencies are until, of course, her appeal is through. Because this isn't over yet. She's still trying to appeal this conviction. She says one of the few people to have shown her any loyalty was former President Donald Trump, defending him. We know each other and mingled in the same circles. In New York and Palm Beach, I was very grateful when he wished me well after the arrest. He got bad media for it, but he dared while others didn't. I was honored that he remembered me. Well, he's known to say what he thinks, and it gave me a boost. She claimed that some of her friends also were canceled just for simply knowing her. And I'll put links to all of the stuff in this video in the description below, guys, if you want to check all of this out for yourself. But she says she's being turned into this sort of Disney-like character, the Wicked Witch, if you will. The real people know me, who still love me, have never spoken up. An intelligent woman who graduated from Oxford University with the modern languages, she said she's worked all her life and she hates to show any kind of weakness. But again, she is close friends with Clinton, Trump, Prince Andrew. She's not going to be discussing any of these individuals. Or her husband, who reportedly dumped her in a prison phone call. She's not going to discuss any of this until her appeal has been heard. Maxwell even refused to deny reports that she and Andrew were once a couple, claiming, I've read and seen and heard and reported to me so many monstrous inaccuracies that I can't even begin to pick it all apart. And indeed, I'm sure when you're dealing with double and triple agents, there's going to be a lot of muddied waters. If I pick apart one and don't address all the others, it's going to be, well, she said no to this, and what about all the others? So again, this is really, really wild stuff, guys, especially when you consider the fact that, this man is no longer alive. Whether you believe he killed himself or didn't is besides the point right now, but she is being threatened with her life, which either is one small indication of why she's not speaking up, but really I think it's more so because of her close ties and connections with the intelligence communities. She's claimed that a fellow prisoner has plotted to murder her as she slept in her bed. The 60-year-old was jailed in June after being found guilty of luring girls to be abused by billionaire sex offender Jeffery Epstein. So again, this is another reason why we may be seeing that she's not about to be naming any names, but I think the more likely reason is because she's, born and raised within the intelligence communities, having from a very young age, being introduced to royalty through her father, who was a triple agent working for the state to mess over the British royal family, guys. And if this is any indication, her good pal here, Kevin Spacey, who she's seen posing with on the Queen's throne, if he's getting off and judges are letting him off right now, I think it's pretty safe to say, unfortunately, that moving forward, Ghislaine Maxwell will not be the one who's going to bring down this massive sex trafficking pedophile ring. Because, again, as a reminder, this was a huge operation. There is a big clientele list. Whether or not that's ever going to come out still remains to be seen. But the idea that it's going to be coming from the person who was involved in it is now proven to be absolute nonsense, because she's completely doubling down, saying she's going to, defend her friends, Clinton, Trump, and the likes of Prince Andrew as well. Crazy, crazy stuff, guys. Just wanted to bring all of this to your attention. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you all this kind of info, don't forget to check out my friends at Patriot Gold Group. Once again, when you call the number on the screen during these business hours, you get connected to a free investor's guide, a free consultant who will help you set up a plan. Again, this helps you and it helps me here at Press for Truth. So again, call the number right here or click the link in the description below. And that's all for today, my friends. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, being a loyal subscriber to me here at Press for Truth. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, my friends. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.